The opinions expressed on this show do not necessarily reflect those of the Barbers Chat Network, our great partners at H&B Media, or any of our media peers. We're just five idiots who love sports and love to talk shit. If you're offended easily, then this show isn't for you. And for those who aren't offended easily, sit back, relax, and enjoy the show. Remember, it's only entertainment.
Triple double hat trick, I know the code too. Ice trade, go for trade, yeah we cold too. Getting paper on these player haters, old news. Money on the other line, so I'm not gonna hold you. Money on the other line, so I'm not gonna hold you. Money on the other line, so I'm not gonna hold you. Money on the other line, so I'm not gonna hold you. Money on the other line, so I'm not gonna hold. My agent just said we made 100 flat. Make it back and make it stack. This like no Steven Jack. Put my rings up in the camera like I needed that. Up in the air and at the rim is where I meet them at.
Before we start the show, we want to thank our sponsors, Pillars. Pillars is the best clothing line in the Chicagoland area. If you're looking for a dope hoodie, a sweatsuit, shirts, shoes, or even stuff for your kids, Pillars is where you should go. You can visit any of their 4 store locations in the Chicagoland area or visit pillarsclub.co and order online. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another edition of I'm Not Gonna Hold You. It is Monday, February 12th, 2024. I am your host, Scott. Y'all know to follow me on Twitter and Instagram at Barberchair Scott. You can follow the Barbers Chat Network on Twitter and Instagram at BarbersChatNet. Follow our partners, H&B Media at H&B Media TV on Twitter and at H&B Media on Instagram. And, of course, get in tune with our other sponsor, Pillars. You can go to their website right now, pillarsclub.co. You can order all of your clothes, shoes, everything you're looking for, man, or visit any of their 4 current store locations in the Chicagoland area, man. We've got a very, very packed show for y'all, man. Y'all can subscribe to the Patreon, patreon.com/Barbers Chat Network if you want to watch the third hour of the show, which is the Overtime Logo Hour, which we get into full detail, everything going on in the world of sports out here in Chicago, man. So get in tune with that. You can do the $5 holla if you just want the I'm Not Gonna Hold You content, and you can do the $10 if you want all other content we offer on the Barbershop Network Patreon, man. So we got a packed show for y'all today. We got a packed house. We're gonna bring the crew in right now. We have got the one and only JR Bang. You know to follow him on Twitter and Instagram at JR Bang. You've got super producer, president of this great company, and the Morehouse man himself, Mr. Dante Miles. You can follow him at Octoberzonte on Twitter. We have got Courtney Collabro here. You can follow her 1-800-Collabro. We've got some good baseball talk for y'all today. Going to be debuting her new segment, The Hot Corner, coming up later in the show. And we got the man, the myth, the legend, somebody that I actually share blood with, and he is the co-owner of this company, and he is also one half of 79th and Halas podcast. My brother Flows. You can follow him on Twitter and Instagram at Flows and Delaney. How's everybody doing?
I'm great, bro. You know, feels good to have Flows in the building. You know,
it's all right. Like Cal Shanahan needs to be fired immediately. We need to get into this immediately.
Yeah, definitely, bro. I was about to say it's like when Slim pop out. We got Baby and Slim in the building at the same time. You know, so always good.
100%. Yeah, exactly. This is Biggs and Dame on here right now. But Courtney, we know you're half alive from your Super Bowl activities. How are you feeling today?
You know, they had us in the first half. I'm not going to lie. Up until about 2 p.m. today, I was not having a good time. For the record, I'm still not having a good time, but still we rise, brother. Still we rise.
JR Bang, you were on PTO today, enjoying your time off. How are you feeling, my brother?
Well,
Orlando.
I was enjoying my PTO, and I just got an email.
We know how that goes.
Just got an email for help, but in the words of I can't pronounce dude's name, I know there's an email that hopes to find me well. Well, I hope it don't find me.
You see, you don't want it to find you at all.
And that's what's gonna happen in about 15 minutes. I'm not gonna find anything because I'm just gonna delete it from my phone.
We've got our Puerto Rican brother Mikey will be joining us in the second hour of the show today, and of course in the local wire. I've got a special interview with Bears beat writer, executive writer of Athletic Chicago, and one half of the Hogan Jahns podcast, Adam Jahns. We're gonna play 2 minutes of that later on in the show. This is a Patreon exclusive full interview. If you want to see it on the I'm Not Gonna Hold You tier, checked out. Yeah, some great things to say. Real in depth about what's going on with the Bears, what they're feeling about Caleb Williams, how they feel about Justin Fields and everything going on in in Bears world, man. So definitely look out there. Shout out everybody in the chat room. Said better be some Kyle Shanahan slamming this bitch. Oh, my brother, we will be cooking Kendall Roy in just a moment. As you see, Dante has notes. And those are real notes. He texted me like 8 a.m. this morning. I was like, nah, I'm taking notes.
And I would like to see the handwriting on those notes, okay? If we're going to
go that far.
Whoa.
It's shit on the page. It's shit on the page.
What's that ethics on? What's that
ethics on the page?
Yo, Courtney been shooting like the last week.
Courtney
been shooting the last week.
I understand now. I see why I've been getting the slander. I see why I've been getting the old man slander and all of that stuff.
Is this payback?
Is because of the F's.
Because of
and
the
I apologize.
Because of the
it's
gang
because
sign
of the palm
F's.
trees.
Because
of the GDFs.
I'll have you know that I have been working on my handwriting, okay?
Her F's is like
the F's have improved.
I mean, people don't write shit though, so we was just we can't judge you too much.
Shout out everybody said Courtney write F's like Larry Hoover. That is fucking hilarious. Shout out to everybody.
Time out. Shout out to Alex. I know he lit up when he saw them Latin Kings on the field after the game. I know y'all boys was happy as hell. I wish Mikey was on right now to talk about this.
Mikey was definitely talking about it, man. But before we get to our big Super Bowl recap, man, let's go into my sound off to start the episode, man. Today, I'm going to sound off on the conversation we've kind of had the last couple weeks in the 2 weeks of Super Bowl leading up. Is do you build a team and just get you a serviceable quarterback, or do you get the guy? And I'm here to tell you, like I've been saying for weeks, and I'm gonna double down. You gotta have the guy. Now, before anybody goes out there and thinks I'm comparing anybody to Patrick Mahomes, I am not. Patrick Mahomes he's in another level. Okay, there's guys, and then there's football gods. He's up there. So by no stretch of the means am I expecting to have anybody play with him, or Caleb Williams, or anybody expecting to be Patrick Mahomes. But to play in this era, to compete for championships, you got to have you a guy like a Patrick Mahomes, like a Joe Burrow, like a Josh Allen, like a Lamar Jackson. Those are the kind of guys you got to have to be able to compete every fucking season for a Super Bowl. The biggest problem we've seen with the San Francisco 49ers in this Kyle Shanahan era, and while I'm not saying I'm 100% blaming Brock Purdy, and we'll get into that in a minute, but you got to have a quarterback. There was too many points that were left on the field, too many ways that they couldn't compete on the level of a Kansas City Chiefs. And if you have your quarterback, now we know you have Andy Reid and this amazing play call and infrastructure like that, it's going to take you further ways. If you even look at Aaron Rodgers' time in Green Bay, even before LaFleur, we didn't know LaFleur was not nice like that. It was so many times where the team had other holes and he covered them up. So my whole take on that is if you can get you a guy who can be elite, whether it's now or a couple years down the line, you got to do what you got to do to build that, because there's nothing worse than having a great team and you don't have an over-the-top quarterback to get you there, man. So that is my sound off to start this episode, man. As we begin our Super Bowl recap, let's actually talk about the entertainment and the Super Bowl recap real quick, man. What did y'all think about the Usher performance? I'm going to give it to my brother first since he is our guest.
I don't care about that. We're here to talk about Kyle Shanahan. No, I'm joking. I am going to say I did not realize Alicia Keys had such like a bad tone to start it, but I think Alicia Keys performed really well with Usher, and I'm not going to accept the slander of her. Secondly, Usher is, I don't know where his ranking will be on the R&B pop all time. I know it's up there, but the dude is just like the consummate professional. He was consistent with his dancing. I almost busted his shit when he was on them damn roller skates, but he did really, really well. I enjoyed it. It was fun. It didn't seem like a labor to watch. And I think the past 3 Super Bowls have felt just it made sense. Unfortunately, sometimes Super Bowl performances it's like, God, get to the freaking game. However, this felt really, really good. And I think, as Orla said, he missed one song, but I think that's a testament to how good and how legendary Usher is. There's going to be some left out. And I loved it. It was a great performance. Usher did really, really well.
Bang, what was your opinion on Usher as you've been hearing what Usher's been cooking up for a while before the actual album came?
Yeah, man, this was better than I expected. I am not sad we did not get Lovers and Friends. If y'all want to know about my Lovers and Friends story, y'all gonna have to check out Storytime with Bang
on Summer Sessions, nigga.
On Summer Sessions, nigga. The story you do not want to miss. But no, I thought Usher's performance was great. I thought it was great also because he was singing. It wasn't no lip syncing or anything like that. Like, he was actually out there getting it, singing and dancing and doing this thing. It started off a bit slow. I think all of us was kind of surprised at the song that kicked it off.
Yeah.
I wasn't expecting caught up. But no, I thought it was fun. I thought it was great. It's in my top 5. I do have a top 5. But I thought it was great. And man, shouts out to Usher. Like, a lot of people, and he mentioned it too. A lot of people was like, yo, why Usher got a halftime show? You saw it. So man, shouts out to Usher.
Definitely. Courtney, what was your opinion on the show?
It was cool. It was cool. Would I go back and rewatch it? Probably not. But it did make me listen to some Usher today. So his streaming numbers are about to go up. Good for him, and I accounted for several of them because the man's got a nice discography. I'll give it to him.
Yeah, it's currently the #1 song on Apple Music. So that shows you just the power of the Super Bowl. Dante, what was your thoughts on what Usher did last night?
It was kind of like we said on the show, the previous show Friday. Like, a lot of the stuff in the beginning was the opening from the Vegas shit, but I think the show was really good. And I think he showed you that his discography has different layers, and he didn't do too much of the new age techno dance shit that he has. So I think it was a really good show. Once again, like you said, a lot of people criticize Jay-Z for taking the rock, for getting the deal with Tidal and the Super Bowl, but they put on some really good Super Bowl performances. And so I think like Bang said, I think for me, I think he's really one of those guys where if he's not the best R&B, artist ever outside of the, Redacted, who's in prison right now. Lord Voldemort, as I like to call him. But other than that, I think, like you said, just admitted that he is one of those American icons, and this was a stage for people like that. So he fit the stage. I know sometimes we talk about these performances and like, nah, they could have kept that shit. But these last few, the artists they've picked, they fit the stage and fit the moment, and it's been perfect.
Yeah, I liked it. Like I said before we got on here, I don't have a top 5. I got a top 3. My favorite is Dre and Snoop, just because Snoop's one of my favorite artists. Dre's one of my favorite producers, and I've just always been a fan of West Coast music. I thought it was great. Number 2, I had to probably put Michael Jackson up there. 3, I would go Prince, even though I only saw that after because the game that happened we will not be talking about that happened when he actually performed. But this was really good, man. I think the thing I liked the most was I only got one EDM track. And as we said on Friday, I don't like glow stick music. So I'm glad we only got Oh My God. We didn't get the other shit, which I was fine with. We got, different seconds of song. I didn't think we were going to get You Got It Bad. Now, we predicted the songs on Friday. I said they were going to start with My Way. I'm going to take 25% credit because he did play the first couple bars of My Way before switching into Caught Up. So I'm going to take a little bit of that. But overall, I thought it was a good performance. And shout out to Jay because we've always been saying, for years, he was like, why can't we get our artists on, the stage of the Super Bowl? And finally did it this time. So, let's get into actual football, which you guys are here to watch us talk about. The last time we'll be able to actually discuss a game for the next 7 months, which makes me want to vomit. But Last night, the Super Bowl 58, the Kansas City Chiefs won their second championship in a row, third in the last 4 years by winning 25-22. Patrick Mahomes went 33 of 46, 2 touchdowns, 1 interception. From the receiving aspect, Mecole Hardman had 3 catches, 57 yards, and the game-winning touchdown. Travis Kelce had 9 receptions, 93 yards, which didn't feel like it. On the San Francisco 49ers side, Brock Purdy went 23 of 38, 1 touchdown. Chris McCaffrey, 22 carries, 80 yards. Before we actually talk about the dynasty, right, I want to bring this to my brother because he's ranting about this last night. What do you feel about? I know you felt very vocal about Travis Kelce pushing Andy Reid. What's your take on that? We gotta bring the fine jar out. You on mute, brother?
Yeah. Lame ass shit. Sorry, I'm still at work. There's some lame ass shit because what's the fucking point of pushing your old ass coach? This is a 65-year-old fat ass man. What's the point of doing that? I get being fired up, and perhaps if his coach was like Kyle Shanahan's age, I'd be like, that's lame. But what you doing? But Andy Reid, and in addition to that, Andy Reid is not some rookie coach who's never won before. At that point, he was a 2-time Super Bowl winner. Now he's a 3-time Super Bowl winner. Now arguably one of the greatest coaches of all time. What's the point of bumping into him? And what's upsetting about that is what you can guess is that if this was a black man, he's a thug, he's this, he's that. And with him, it's, it's passion of the game. You can just laugh about it and shit. NFL page makes memes out of it. And it's like, yeah, but he just pushed an old ass man because he didn't get the ball. And it ain't like Kelce was the difference maker in this game. It wasn't him. So it wasn't like you give me the ball and then we're going to magically win. No, so it's lame, and I don't understand the purpose it serves. I don't know him personally, and I won't speak about how he is personally, but that sort of jarring in the game is nuts to me. And then on top of that, you ain't that cold, bro. That's my take. It's a hot take, but I'm going to stick with it, bro. Mr. Sit in Space has my take.
I definitely agree with everything you're saying about as far as how he'd have been perceived if he was a black tight end. 100%. I definitely agree that would have been the case. I kind of feel like it was probably just the problem I had was the pushing. It wasn't even the fact that he got in his face when we've seen it happen before, but the fact that he got into him, it was just overly aggressive to me at the particular moment. Bam. But Dynasty, we started this show back in September with the question of, is this a dynasty? That's exactly how we started the show. And I think every last one of us, because we actually have brains, were like, nah, they're not a dynasty. They got to win one more. Well, they did that last night, and they have officially cemented the dynasty. To me, I look at it like this. Why this is a scary dynasty because of how, I won't say easily it came together, but it kind of came together very quickly, I kind of feel like. Like, Pat has been in the league 6 seasons. He's already got 3 championships. He's been in 4 Super Bowls. He is not, in his career, he has not been to anything less than the AFC Championship game. And you're really starting to see how great it makes Andy Reid. And just like everything is coming together. And this was one of their worst years. And they didn't have an easy road. Go on the road to beat Buffalo. Go on the road to beat the Ravens. And even last night, even though it was a neutral game, that felt like a Niner home game. There was a shit ton of Niner fans in there. They were getting booed as they were walking out, playing on their division rivals field, which I did think was hilarious because if you peep, Mecole Hardman took the fucking Chiefs flag and put it right in the middle of Allegiant Stadium. That was not done just out of spur of the moment. I believe that was done on purpose. But you really see just what kind of team this is. And they kind of remind me eerily similar of the early Patriots run, and especially with how this particular team was, or how great the defense was. And the offense didn't have to be lights out to win the game. Bam, I'm gonna go to you first. Of course, we all know this is a dynasty. What do you think about this dynasty that might separate them from others, like the 90s Cowboys or, the Patriots, or even like the San Francisco 49ers?
I think you said it. This happened quickly, and it happened, and I don't get what nobody say. It happened with an unlikely QB. You go look back. We had our conversation about the 2017 draft a couple of weeks ago about, me and Scott going back and forth. Well, there's nothing else outside of that could be said, but there was very few people that had Patrick Mahomes as a top 10 player in that draft, let alone a top 3 quarterback. There was some people, shouts out to everybody sharing the Merrill Hodge video of him shitting on Caleb Williams. But ladies and gentlemen, Merrill Hodge had Patrick Mahomes as a second or third round QB at best. He thought my man was going to be a project. There was a lot of others who had Pat as the third quarterback in the draft. It was not a lot of people that had Pat as the number one player in that draft that year. Pat is the greatest player we've seen thus far in the NFL in the time frame that he's had. I have not seen a quarterback in the time frame that he's had. Not talking about of all time. I said the time frame that he's had have the success that this man has had, stat-wise, ring-wise, success-wise. Somebody tell me another quarterback that's had that. So you have that right there. The other part of it is this was a down year. This was supposed to be the year that they do it on the road. Pat can't win it on the road. The defense is leading them and all of that. We've had conversations about game manager versus game changer. All of these things that's been going on. But the thing that's basically been the standard for the past 4.5 years is that the Chiefs and Patrick Mahomes is going to win it all. So it's a dynasty. They got their back-to-back. Quite honestly, depending on who they bring back, because there is questions, depending on who they bring back and who they replace them with, I don't see this train stopping anytime soon.
Joe, you had a certain look on your face when you were saying this. I'm going to get the floor to you.
Yeah, I would like to know, Joe, who has it? Who has?
And you're on mute again. This is the second time
we my brother.
And I am just fucking up. So what I've adjusted my stance on what you said, because you did say these individual stats in the time frame. I would say yes. I don't think we've ever seen a QB in this span not only win a lot, but also win individually. Tom Brady won a lot individually. That didn't happen until he got a little bit older. So right. No, I don't have anything harsh to say about that. They're a dynasty. They're a dynasty. I will say, however, this is not a down year. This is not a down year. That is the biggest cap and the biggest cup of bullshit I've heard throughout this entirety of really watching this entire Super Bowl. Because while it is true, the wide receiver group is ass. Rashee Rice is probably, a 3 on an average team? Not a 2, probably a 3. They have, with that being said, they still have an excellent tight end group. And I think that's what allows those middle of the road wide receivers to get open. And they have really good running backs. And they have had Mahomes, obviously. But having tight ends, having a solid receiver in Rashee Rice who didn't start really getting open towards the end of the season, it's not a bad team. And then that defense, I'm starting to wonder, are they better than the first title's defense? Just because of how well
they're way better than the first title defense.
Just because of how well they're moving. Interior wise, you have Chris Jones there, but everybody just gets to the ball. The unsung group is the linebackers. The linebackers are just disciplined. And that's really the scariest thing about the Chiefs. They don't have the biggest names on defense that like the 49ers have. The 49ers, I think the average person will say, well, he has this person, he has this person, he has this person. But man, those linebackers just stay disciplined. Those corners stay disciplined. Even though I think it was McDuffie had a holding call that was sort of rough, he just did a great job defending. And this defense is, and it's like Scott said, it does remind me of those early Patriots teams where Tom Brady was still playing good, but the defense was so damn solid that it really helped them. So this isn't they started slow. Offensively, they really started slow, but they started to rely on the run game more. Pat started allowing himself to use his legs even more. This game, he rushed for 9 attempts for 68 yards. He was their leading rusher. He was getting himself out there. And it's like, if you're going to allow me to do that, I'm going to take advantage of it. And that the moral of this story is the team that tricked it off less won. And the Chiefs tricked it off much less than the 49ers did. And that's why they are where they are.
Courtney, what's your thoughts on last night from what you can remember?
I feel the exact same sentiments as y'all. Now, I do disagree that this was supposed to be the down year for the Chiefs. So what? It's just crazy because this was not supposed to happen. Like, look back even like 2 months ago, none of this was supposed to happen. And now we're having the same conversation that we're probably going to end up having again a year from now about Patrick Mahomes, and at what point, is it no longer recency bias, and is that man actually like the GOAT?
And we're gonna get in that in just one.
He's the difference maker. He is the difference maker.
We're gonna get in that in just 1 second. You were talking about Courtney. We said what he was talking about. I saw I was looking at old videos we did a couple nights ago, and then on the first episode of Cousin Dan we had, and Bang said, "Oh, it's just not happening this year." I was like, man, if I had an intern right there, I have him last time on this show, Bang said this. So we definitely didn't see this coming. But I'll say this about the down year. The reason I'll say it was a down year is compared to the other years, this was the worst that the offense looked. And even on that Christmas Day loss to the Raiders, they looked fucking god awful. That's where kind of people are, oh, well, nobody, thought that this was going to be to where they're going to go, especially with the gauntlet of teams they had to run through. Dante, what's your thoughts on Chiefs and stealing this dynasty last night?
I don't think it was a down year. I think one thing that we really have to do is just take a step back and look big picture. I think more than anything, one of those years that showed us that football is a multifaceted game, like we say all the time, and that defense was excellent all year. And so they were able to rely on that defense at times where in the past few seasons Pat wasn't able to do that. So yeah, you say they've had pieces back in the day, but the defense this year has been a lot better. And most of the shit on my sheet is to talk about the 49ers, but the first thing I wrote down today was that the Chiefs defense through this Super Bowl run, they faced the number 2, 3, 4, and 6 offenses in the league. Throughout the regular season, those teams averaged 28.3 points a game. When they played the Chiefs, they averaged 15.8. So they were able to lock down offenses that were putting up damn near 30 a game. And they did it, 4 consecutive weeks. Well, 3, took a break, and 4. But for them to do that, you got to really tip your cap to them. And I know a lot of times we always quick to say what people didn't do. But it's one of those times where it's they defense really played their ass off. So that was big. And, this is definitely a dynasty. And for Pat, as much as I think the GOAT conversation will come, it's one of those things kind of like with Shohei when we say, he's great, the greatest motherfucker ever. It's you have to let somebody play. You have to let the story play out. We always want to crown people now. I understand this is the microwave generation and all that. But with all the greatness he's done, it's been 6 seasons. A lot can change. So let's, allow him to keep going, enjoy it. But right now he's on pace to be that, no matter what anybody says. He said 6 seasons, the closest to, he's been 6 AFC championships. He's lost 3. So other than that, bro, I think the debate is not really it really makes much sense unless it just goes off. Well, I like Tom Brady, which I understand because Brady is my guy. I'm a Brady guy. I've been a Brady guy. But in terms of what he's done so far, we've never seen it before. And it's something we should truly enjoy instead of letting him, have him essentially fighting ghosts because Brady not coming back no more. So,
well, here's the way where I don't disagree and I agree at the same time. It's he's chasing ghosts, but he's not chasing ghosts because he fought that ghost twice and lost. And this is what Pat said this. Hold on, Pat said this to himself this morning in his press conference. Yeah. Said that that loss against Brady is always going to be on me. He said so. Go ahead before you.
Yeah, 100%. It's going to be on him, but at the same time, that was year 2. Like when you think about it,
that was year 2. That was also year 22 for Brady.
Right. Exactly, though. You're talking about a young pup against. That's like Parmesan. I give you a great one because I love boxing. It's like when Floyd beat the shit out of Canelo. Whoa. He should have did that. It was prime Floyd against a Canelo who was fighting motherfuckers for 25 pesos. Like Joe, let's be real, Joe. Let's
prime
be real,
Floyd.
Joe.
We're lying.
No, not prime. Okay, but it was a Floyd that was a skilled champion fighter against a young up and coming guy that had no shot. It was cool in the story, but it was no way in hell he was gonna beat Floyd Mayweather Jr. We know that. Joe,
nuts.
Joe,
I hate the cap for Canelo, and I love boxing.
That's my guy, though.
Not true.
Canelo,
that is not true.
Bro.
Wait a minute. What's not true?
Canelo was a baby, bro.
That was at Floyd. Floyd is always going to be in shape, but physically worst. Well, the thing about Floyd though is just He is incredible mentally, and that's why he wins. But the fact that, Canelo is, he was young, he was not supposed to win, that was not what had happened going into that fight. Into that fight, there was legitimate concern. And then he fought him at the right time. No,
so wait a minute.
Whooped his ass
Wait a minute,
bro.
I want to make sure that I hit this right for the time argument. So Flows, are you saying that Floyd was past his prime?
Absolutely.
Okay. All right. Okay. Cool. All right.
Absolutely.
So okay. So I agree. Right.
Yeah,
I agree because that's the same thing. Because that's the same thing I told Scott. It's not just that Pat lost to Tom Brady. He lost the old Tom Brady.
Yeah.
So knowing that he lost the old Tom Brady, I think that's probably, he won't say it, but I think that's part of the anger that Pat probably has. Like, I didn't lose the Tom Brady in his prime. I didn't lose the Tom Brady throwing to Randy Moss. I didn't even lose the time throwing it to Deion Branch.
I lost the girl dad Tom Brady.
I lost the girl dad Tom Brady.
Why are we acting like girl dad Tom Brady is still not better than like all of our quarterbacks?
He is. Say that.
He is, but it's like
that's like still old.
Most niggas.
That's crazy. This is crazy.
It's like Jay-Z albums. Do you want to lose the 444 or do you want to lose the blueprint? It's a different thing. 444 is still better than the majority of rappers.
And you gotta look at that Tampa Bay team and the New England team. These folks
that's not the same, Orla. That's not the same.
Yeah, that's not the same.
I'm tired of this
Orlando,
nonsense.
Don't do that. I'm with you. Don't do that. Don't do that.
For my man Orlando.
Don't do that. But no, it's even the teams that you win against. It's like, I know Pat believes that team, both teams that he lost to Tom Brady with, not only just with old Tom Brady, but the team as a whole, I'm better than them. How did I lose to them? But knowing that I lost to them twice, along with it being old but still cold, but old Tom Brady, I'm not going to be able to be the GOAT like y'all want me to be the GOAT. I'm not the GOAT in my mind because that's who I was supposed to be. I had the ghost in front of me, and I lost to the ghost.
Can I say this real quick?
I want you to go to Wikipedia.com right now. I want you to type in Floyd Money Mayweather Jr. And then you're going to go on the left side of the screen. You're going to go to professional boxing record. You're going to go to number 45. Tell me what that says. It's a fat L.
Can I throw a chaos bomb out here?
Yeah.
This is why this conversation is interesting to me, because it actually makes sense. Outside of the opposite of LeBron, Michael Jordan, this one has merit, because one thing that Joe tweeted yesterday, and I want to say this, and Shannon Sharp tried to do this on First Take, and Stephen A. put him in his place. Mahomes is playing how people think that LeBron plays, and like, we want to be 100% real about it. LeBron, no matter how much you want to say, oh, he did this, he's 4-7, nigga. Okay, he's under 500. This nigga Pat is 3-1. You know what I'm saying? He is actually winning. He's on. If you even want to look at the two things, like I think Brady said, I saw this on Julian Edelman's podcast. He said we're getting ready to for our last year with the Patriots. And he told him, oh yeah, he said you want to get away from, you want one more of being over Joe Montana. He looked at him like, I'm not trying to pass Montana, so I'm trying to pass Jordan. So even if you look at that, he's close. Like, at least it's a close conversation. A lot of things have to go into it, but this is the real GOAT conversation. I feel like, where you can see. Yeah. Man, he got a shot. It was we can sit up here and talk about individual conversations all we want with LeBron, but as far as winning championship, it was never that close.
Yeah, but not only that, even like the poke more holes in the Brady argument, the two times he lost, one his nigga was offsides, the other time he didn't get the ball. So it's like we're blaming him, or we hold those L's against him, which people, like you said, even he said that people are gonna do. But if you really just look at the whole picture, if bro keeps on this pace, which is like, we keep saying that they can't do this, they can't do that, but they've been at a hell of a pace right now. If he keeps at it, and like we say, he ends up with shit, even if he don't get to 7 rings, if he get to 5 championships, 5 MVPs, like the way he's carried this team, the way he's done it, it's gonna be a conversation, bro. Like,
it's gonna be a conversation. I'm not disagreeing with that. If we want to talk about a path, he's on the path now, but there's so many things that go into it. like we old enough, man. But 20 years ago, there was a question. I remember the interview. Like it was fucking yesterday. It was Tom Brady and fucking Chris Berman. Oh, you just keep winning championships every year. Like, are you gonna stop? This happened after they beat the Eagles. And this nigga went 10 years without winning one. And Joe, you tweeted this earlier. There's gonna like next year, I think they'll be able to bring Chris Jones back probably on a 1 or 2 year deal because they want to go for the three-peat. And if you want to talk about separation, that would be the separator. No team ever has three-peated. The Niners tried, and I'm actually like combining the next two topics about this before we move on to the Niners all in one. But if you talk about like the Niners tried to do it, the Giants fucking killed Joe Montana in that game. They killed him.
I remember watching that game.
That was one of the hardest hits ever. You know, the Cowboys tried it. They lost to the Niners in that NFC Championship game. As we still know to this day, still argue was it pass interference. I personally think it was pass interference. Pass interference was also 1994, so I don't know how they judged it at the time. And then the Patriots didn't even make the playoffs in 04-05. So he still got a lot to do. Brady went 10 years without winning the championship. The question is also, how long is Andy Reid going to stay there? You know what I'm saying? Like that's the thing that he's just as much of an importance to this as Patrick Mahomes. And I'm going to keep bringing this up.
That's a great point.
Somebody said the difference between Brady and Mahomes is there was like Mahomes and Peyton Manning. They said the difference between Mahomes and Peyton Manning is that not only does Mahomes have like the Manning type of physical, like mental part of it, he also has Andy Reid, who I believe is the greatest offensive mind ever, that helps him with that. And to go in the comment range, said Mahomes is the GOAT now. You may never catch Brady or me a Tiger Jack situation where the trophies don't match. But here's a different thing. This is why we're GOAT.
There is no such thing as the GOAT now.
Thank you. There's no such thing as the GOAT now. He's the best player right now. There's no such thing. People be like, there's two things people do that's politically correct. GOATs. There's no such thing as GOATs. There's a GOAT. And then my GOAT. My GOAT is a cop-out. When I say my GOAT, that means I know this nigga isn't the GOAT, but he's more important to me. That's like when niggas say Kobe is my GOAT.
Yeah, but no, I must say, as a nigga who plays golf, I know what he's getting at. Like if this was year 13 or 14 for Pat as opposed to year 6, it'd be a better point. But I get exactly what he's saying because, like, prime example, Tiger is one major off of Jack, but if you ask anybody who plays golf, Tiger Woods is the greatest person to ever pick up a fucking set of golf clubs. So, like, Pat may very well, be the greatest quarterback we've ever seen, but he may not catch Brady in hardware, and there may be that type of conversation. And we're talking about a team sport, so that makes the conversation a lot difficult. Where golf is one-on-one.
I got a controversial take on who I think the greatest quarterback I ever saw in my eyes is.
Who that?
Scott's going to be disappointed in me.
Jameis Winston.
I know who you finna say anti-vax boy, ain't you?
Aaron Rodgers is the greatest quarterback I've ever seen with my eyes. I've never seen someone do it.
We're talking talent-wise, right?
Yeah.
I ain't got time for this shit.
Oh,
you said who?
What'd you say?
No, I
you
said
who?
For this shit.
Yeah, talent-wise, Aaron Rodgers is the greatest quarterback I've ever seen with my eyes. I've never seen someone play the position so skillfully as he has. It's nuts. And then the fact that he had most of his careers, I think 13 out of 15 years or 8 interceptions or less. It's nuts what he's done. It's ridiculous. So the greatest player I've ever seen with my eyes, as cold as Pat is Aaron Rodgers.
If me flows, that's different. Mine's is Dan Marino.
Okay.
Yeah, when talking talent, Dan Marino is that for me. Dan Marino, oh my God. Prime Dan Marino.
It's nuts how good Dan Marino is. The fact that, and that's why I hate when Dan Marino is not included on QB lists.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, bro, what he was doing in that era it's what quarterbacks are doing now.
Right.
So some quarterbacks ain't doing what he did then. It's nuts what he did. It is insane how good he was. With Pat, of course, he'll be high because of the wins, but who I've seen with my eyes be Aaron Rodgers, who I've seen post their career, Dan Marino, just watching his games and saying, how the fuck was he doing that then? It's ridiculous.
And I think too, like the talent comes. Yeah, we on talent. Like I think that, Rodgers is more talented than Brady, 100%. Like I can admit that. I personally think that Patrick Mahomes most talented nigga I've seen in my eyes. That's just me. But to answer one of the questions in the chat, shout out to Jeff Shore. He said last week, Scott, you stated there was an attribute for Dynasty to repeat, and I agree. For the panel, do you think she's the Dynasty? Shout out to you, Jeff, for watching. We just answered that a couple minutes ago. Yeah, we all think they are a Dynasty. It's just at this point it's growing on that. Can they separate themselves from that? And then also one other one before we get to the next point. Orlando said, Pat is a psycho. Those Brady losses always hurt, just like Mike can see. You could see in his eyes when he said it this morning. He gave the reporter the same look he gave me when I asked him how does he hate the Bears. Like he gave me a Kobe stare. Like I felt it when I was sitting there. Like I felt like he was looking at nobody else in the room but me. Like he gave the nigga the same stare when he said that he's a competitor. And one thing I saw from the quarterback show, and then when me and Dante spoke to Jeff Allen last week, that nigga's a psycho. Like so, it's definitely gonna bother him. But that is just something where I think Pat, with this three-peat, and this is the two things, and we'll move on to what y'all really want to hear about us talking about the Niners. The three-peat, I think there's a legitimate shot. I don't know if they're going to do it, but I think this is the best chance we've seen a team having a three-peat since the 90s Cowboys, because if that is called pass interference, the Cowboys win that game, and they probably smoke the Chargers.
Yeah, and probably.
Yeah, ain't no problem. They smoke the Chargers. You know what I'm saying? Like that's something to me where I feel like will be the difference here too. So I feel like they got a real opportunity, and that's why I think everybody is gonna come back. Courtney, do you think what's your percentages on what you think they have a chance to get a three-peat here?
I mean, I think it's gonna be a lot harder just with the amount of people that are gonna coming back from injuries. They definitely need to make some improvements to that wide receiver room, but I mean, it's Patrick Mahomes. I refuse to put anything out of the realm of possibility so long as that team has Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid.
Dante, what you think? Three-peat chances?
I would put him at a 75% right now. I'm not gonna lie. As long as Patrick Mahomes got two legs and his fucking right shoulder cuff work, I don't really, it's gonna be tough to beat this team. So. Yeah, I think I would put it at 75% right now. It's hard to pick one team when the field is, 29 others. Yeah. But no, I would go 75%.
Bang, where you at with it?
They're at least my favorite out the AFC next year, right now. I love Lamar Jackson, but the way that they lost has a lot of questions, more questions than answers when it comes to that team. I'm not sure that Buffalo is going to get back. I think they blew their load. Outside of that, Miami, I'm not really that confident in. So yeah, we are at an age where I'm not counting Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs out until it actually happens. So yes.
Joe, I'm gonna do a double question here because the next one is something I know you want to rant on. One, what's your percentage for a three-peat? And talk about the Andy Reid masterclass, because you went on a rant and you went on a rant on Twitter and IG about people not giving Andy Reid enough credit. So that's a two-part question for you. Go ahead.
What was the first question again?
What percentage do you got them be able to get three-peat next year?
65%. Right now, if they bring Chris Jones is the X factor for me, just because Chris Jones is relentless in his pursuit. He's disciplined and he's so good situationally. I'm going to say 65%. If he's retained, I would say probably 70%. They have a few concerns in the secondary too about free agents. The only person who I think presents a true challenge to them, just because of how he played them in the AFC Championship 2 years ago, is the Bengals with Joe Burrow. I know they might. T. Higgins is a concern, I believe, or getting him back on the team. But the Bengals are probably the only team that I've seen just play really well against the Chiefs. I was rewatching that AFC Championship earlier. Joe Burrow was hitting routes. They were disciplined. Even when the defense gave up some stupid shit, the offense came back and were performing very well. I mean, even with their backup this year, they still look really solid. And so Joe Burrow coming back healthy, having a full offseason behind him, that's the only team that I'm going to assume will give them some go. I can't see Josh Allen and the Bills doing anything different. They're just kind of stuck in their ways. The Ravens, I don't know what the hell made them think that stop running Lamar Jackson, sit him in the pocket like fucking Peyton Manning. That was stupid. And then Yeah, that's the really only. And then the Dolphins suck ass. That's not going to change. Tua BLT is not going to. I can't see him just becoming a better QB overnight. So my best bet. And when my coworkers ask me, Joe, who you got for Super Bowl? Like Chiefs, just because it's at that point where it's like somebody said yesterday, if it's Tom, if it's Brady, or if it's Mahomes, one of those games, what do you say? Oh, they're probably going to win. That being said, moving on to MVP performances and who I think should. And what I think of Andy Reid's performance and really the unnecessary glazing of Pat Mahomes. As great as Pat Mahomes is, he's a great, great player, already on track to become the greatest. On track, he's not. You can't overlook what Andy Reid has done with his team. Right now, and to Shanahan's point, I feel like he's on that similar trajectory as Andy Reid was when he was in the Eagles. Because Scott can attest, Andy Reid used to do so many dickhead things.
Oh, my God.
Scott loved McNabb. He's still a fan of T.O., but he'd be sitting at TV saying, what are you doing? And that was Andy Reid. He was the trick-off king.
Yep.
But he went to Kansas City, learned, and now, of course, he's one of the greatest offensive minds ever. But if you would have told me this when he was in Philly, man, he's going to be one of the GOATs. I'm thinking, hell no. He don't know how to win. So seeing where he is now and how he's developed into this coach that we know, and then just the way he addresses the deficiencies and the strengths of his team. He knows that, okay, more than likely these receivers are not going to take the top off the defense. And because Pat likes to hit those home run balls, I'm going to take what the defense gives me. That first half, they were really, really whooping the Chiefs' ass. The running game was not effective. Travis Kelce was getting schemed out of the game. The receivers that they do have were not getting open. Pat could barely even run. And they recognized that. But the moment that the 49ers decided to switch up and say, you know what, we're going to blitz heavy, or you know what, we're going to sit in a soft zone, all the plays went towards picking that off. And that was so frustrating about Kyle Shanahan. You have the greatest white man to ever play running back position and Christian McCaffrey, and you say,
white
you know
man
what?
runs the ball.
You know what? I am not going to give him the ball. The first 3 possessions of the third quarter. Stay with me now. Pass, 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 punt. Next one, pass, 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 punt. Next one, run, pass, pass, punt. And then when he was asked at the end of the game, why did you all get away from the run in the third quarter? And I quote, I didn't get away from the run game. You go 3 and out, and you don't have drives. So I didn't get away from it. We just didn't stay on the field. You had 3 drives before your last one to run the ball. You got to fucking away from it. The first 2, you didn't even run it all.
Go 5 again, Scott.
Go 5. All right.
What you say?
Say it again, Joe. Say it again, Joe.
Pass, 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 punt, pass, 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 punt, run, pass, pass, punt.
It's a goddamn shame.
It's nuts. What makes you think in the National Football League, in the Super Bowl of that, I am going to have 2 complete drives where we don't run? And then on top of that, your offensive line is beating up the Chiefs at the point of attack. Why get away from that? And then this dickhead excuse, we just didn't stay on the field. Basically, oh man, so if those passes would have worked, we would have ran. How does that make sense? They're asking you, in those freaking plays you had, those 9 plays you had, you ran one time. And before that, Christian McCaffrey is eating them up. He's eating them up. And then when you go back to the run game and you don't diversify your scheme, what happens? They start bottling him up at the line. You want to pass up too late. Chris Jones is already near you. So I don't understand Kyle Shanahan's thinking. And then the lack of accountability to just say, you know what? I tweaked it off a bit. We should have did this. We should have did that. And then don't let me get started on the overtime rules. Your players came out and said, oh, we weren't prepared. And I know some fans say, well, you know, he's human. It happens. I'm sorry. You're a professional football coach. This does not happen. You have to have people who are aware of the rules at all times. You have to have coaches who are aware of what to do in those situations. The Chiefs said, oh, yeah, we prepared for this. We prepared since the beginning of the season. Why are you not prepared? It's nuts how you can come into a game, have a great half, and then just trick off. He's been involved in 4 Super Bowls. Does anybody know what he shares in common in every one of those Super Bowls? Tricking off a goddamn
He's
lead.
blown a double-digit lead.
It's nuts. It is nuts. And I just don't understand why you would want to bring him back. Now I get it. He took him to 3 Super Bowls. And so 3 Super Bowls is just not something you scoff at. It's insane. I mean, fans like myself wish I could have seen 3 Super Bowls with my team in it. However, at what point do you look at yourself and say, wow, I am co-signing mediocrity? This is tier 1 mediocrity. If Andy Reid takes his team to the mountaintop, Shanahan sends you a view about 20 feet below and says, wow, that's what that looks like. And then he just leaves you there. Andy Reid, meanwhile, says, you know what, here's the mountaintop. We're going to get there. He takes you there. You can't co-sign mediocrity this long. He needs to go to the hood and get his mind right, in the words of esteemed orator Curtis Jackson. Go back to the hood and get your mind right. Because right now, all you're doing with keeping Kyle Shanahan is saying, you know what? We're okay with almost doing it, but not quite finishing. Not quite finishing. He is a pull-out artist of a coach. It's nuts. It's not. He does not get the job done. And I'm actually angry.
I can tell.
I'm a 49ers fan. I don't give a shit about the 49ers.
You hate bad football.
It's stupid football. Watching Dan Campbell and you know what, we're going to go for it. I'm like, this is dumbass football. All the game of football is a leather ball and you move it forward. It's not rocket science. It's not rocket science. You run the ball, they attack the run, you throw the ball. They attack the pass, you run the ball again. Oh, time to trick them. And how is it that he knows to do that for 2 quarters, but then says, you know what? I'm going to trick it off again. It almost seems on purpose when it's just so stupid. And it's just unacceptable. I hope for his sake that he gets over it like Andy Reid did later in his career. But as of right now, I doubt it's going to happen. And the 49ers will keep doing the same thing and keep losing. It's unfortunate.
Go ahead, Dante. The floor is yours.
Yeah, I mean, he's ran off half of my notes, so I definitely agree with everything Joe was saying. But the one thing I will say is, I think a lot of the vitriol around this conversation, as bro just said, his offense runs through half of the league, and that's the frustrating part. Because when you look at Kyle Shanahan's offense, whether it's him, whether it's LaFleur, anybody that runs it, he can run the football whenever the fuck he wants to, and he will sit there and say, "No, I'm going to prove a point. I'm going to just throw the ball no matter what." Like the way that they lost that game, like you said, those first 3 drives, I sent the text to the group chat. I said, he's about to do it again.
Yeah, you did.
He's about to do it again. And he sat there, and we talk about this often with these offensive geniuses where they feel like they're the smartest person in the stadium and they have to win their way. I don't give a fuck. Who cares about what traditional football says, what's working? Like you said, Christian McCaffrey, I know he had the fumble in the red zone in the beginning, but, he had a really good game, and you go away from that just trying to do, essentially what you did to get you there. But at the same time, it's about situational football. And so it's really frustrating with Kyle. And as much as I want to say that, he'll have that, Andy Reid type of moment where he flips that switch, we don't know. And it may be a situation where I texted to Scott in the group chat earlier where he may end up like his pops, where like he'll have this rep until he wins one on the way out the door. Like, because we talk about Mike Shanahan as this great coach now, but he won 2 on the way out. Like, It was a lot of what ifs with Mike Shanahan. So, the apple may not fall too far from the tree, and it really may be one of those situations where, no matter how great he is, no matter how many disciples he has to go on to success in other places, he until he can get out of his own head, because you don't just blow double-digit leads in 3 fucking Super Bowls. It don't happen, bro. So like it's something that he does, and we talked about the overtime rules. The one thing that like I told Scott, I don't know about firing him, but the one thing that would have made me consider getting rid of him, you give Pat Mahomes the ball last. One thing we said leading up to this is like whoever has the ball last is gonna win this game. And you sit there and you fuck up and think it's the old overtime rules where, I can score a touchdown to win a game. No, he's going to get the ball regardless. So, if you're going to get the ball back, give him the ball first. Your defense has been stopping him. Try to hold him to a field goal, and then you go win the game. But no, you decide that, I'm going to go first. I'm going to score a touchdown. And then your quarterback turned into the game manager he is, and he got 3 instead of 7. So there we go. I'm just disappointed.
I want to take what my brother and Dante both said and kind of combine it into a double slander right here. We keep looking at Kyle Shanahan. I'm going to tell you who the real fucking victim is. And I've been saying this shit for about 2 years now. It's fucking John Lynch. Okay? I've been saying this shit. Nobody has gotten away with more murder, who has had more blood on his hands than John fucking Lynch. from day one. We've been hearing, fucking you passed on Patrick Mahomes jokes I've heard in my life the last 7 goddamn years. That nigga passed on him too. That nigga passed on him first. That nigga passed on Deshaun Watson. Where's Solomon Thomas at? I didn't even know that nigga was in the league till I watched Hard Knocks this year. How many times are we gonna let him slide? Trey fucking Lance was like, what, the 3rd pick in the draft? He passed on Micah Parsons. He passed on Justin Fields, who would have been better than him. He passed on hella niggas, and we give him so much leash. He hired Kyle Shanahan, who Kyle Shanahan is the football equivalent of Doc Rivers. That's just really what it comes down to. And if you look at the stuff we got in the chat right now, shout out my cousin Peyton. He said, my man still has the offensive scheme that runs through damn near the NFC. Okay, do you want to be – that is a 40-degree day, in the words of Stringer Bell. It is a 40-degree day. Like, niggas don't – hold on, let me go ahead. It's a 40-degree day. It does not matter. Yes, you can get through the NFC. Great for you. You're the fucking San Francisco 49ers. You have the most championships in league, or tied for league championship history, and you're the new Buffalo Bills. That's essentially who the fucking San Francisco 49ers are. They've had the same drought as the Dallas Cowboys and don't even get half the slander of the Dallas Cowboys. Granted, I know the Cowboys ain't even been in the Super Bowl. I understand that. But when you lose in the big game, you should get some shit. And when it comes to, and I'm glad you brought up Sean McVay, Ola, because look, I hate this. We need an offensive coach in today's game. Does it help? 100%. I'm not going to sit up here and act like it doesn't. But there's too many offensive coordinators who are genius offensive coordinators, or genius passing game coordinators, or quarterback coaches who become head coaches who do bozo shit. Joe, you just brought up Andy Reid. Yeah, Andy Reid is great now. Andy Reid used to be King Bozo 20 years ago. 5 NFC championship appearances and he didn't do nothing. Losing the Super Bowl. So we've seen this trend. So I just don't like that you need an offensive mind. And do I think it would be maybe a risky deal by firing Kyle Shanahan? Yeah, maybe. Because who you can replace him with. But I would not care if you did fire him. You lost 2 Super Bowls. Really 3. If you want to include the Atlanta one, even though I know he was not the head coach, he was the offensive coordinator. He keeps doing the same shit. If I blew the biggest lead in Super Bowl history, I would think, you know what? If I go there again, I'm going to run the goddamn ball. And on top of that, you have the best running back you ever had in those 3 years, the greatest white running back of all time. And you say, you know what? Fuck it. I'm going to keep having Brock Purdy throw. It is fucking negligence. It is everything you want to use. We're going to sit up here and blame Brock Purdy. Brock Purdy is who Brock Purdy is. It's from fucking Kyle Shanahan, man. And it's just too much. The whole organization is getting away with murder, dog.
I agree, bro. And one thing I will say, this is another reason why when you don't, when you play scared, when you don't play to win, when you take your foot off the gas, that's when the bullshit happens. The same thing happened to them against New England, and the same thing happened in this game. You had the fucking special teams where the ball hits the nigga in the foot, and instead of falling on the ball, you go try to get the ball, turn it over. You had the block extra point. You had so many moments that, like, when you look at the fact that he didn't run the ball, then you go back and say, well, damn, this happened, this happened, this happened, this happened, this happened. It's like, it's always seemed like there's this chain of events because you didn't just say, hey, let me keep doing what got me here. Because again, his scheme, they can run the ball at will, and they've done it with every team he's ever been with. That motherfucker had Devontae Freeman running like Barry Sanders. Somebody tell me where Devontae Freeman is now. Please. like the scheme is set up for them to run the fucking football. And you have these brain farts in the biggest moments, and it just don't make sense.
Yeah. Before we get to Courtney and Bang, Joe, I know you got to bounce. Of course, let everybody know they can follow you and everything. You got to make sure you take yourself off mute.
I'm glad you told me to take myself off mute. You can follow me, Flows Andolini, on Twitter. Sometimes I'm managing 79th and Halas accounts, typically me or Scott or somebody. Yeah, Kyle Shanahan should be fired. The 49ers need to move on from John Lynch. And, yeah, that's all I have.
All righty, then. You can follow, like you said, you can follow them everywhere. And if you can tell who's running the 79th and Halas account, if there's people getting cussed out, that's me. If is Joe hitting y'all with the actually want to have conversation, y'all actually try to talk sense to y'all, that's him. So y'all know to get to him, man. So definitely good to have you on. So let's I want to go to Courtney and Bang. I'm gonna go to Courtney first. What's your your opinion on everything we just talked about the last
Yeah,
couple minutes.
I mean, listen, there's really nothing more that I can add that hasn't already been said. And somebody in the comments said the same thing, and it was actually one of my first thoughts. I was like, they're just really up here leaving Super Bowls on the table, him and Pete Carroll, by not running the damn ball. Run the damn ball. You have Christian McCaffrey, the offensive player of the year. What are you doing? What are you? It's negligence at that point to not run the ball. They're not going to fire him. He's not getting fired.
No, I don't think so.
No. He's not getting fired. That man's job is safe as shit. But should his job be safe? I don't know. Give it another year.
Definitely. Bang, go ahead, man. I know you Bang was enjoying watching all three of us go off. Go crazy.
Yeah, I was, man. Y'all went off the deep end. Lots to unpack with what y'all had talked about. But the main thing is that it is unfortunate that I think that Kyle Shanahan, whether as an offense, like in no situation, no matter the situation that he's been in, inside of the Super Bowl, has had 10-point leads and lost them all. That was something that I heard earlier today, that he's had 10-point leads as a head coach and as an offensive coordinator, and he pissed them both away. Them boys went conservative in that second half, and I have no idea why, except for one thing, which is the one thing that y'all did not mention, is Cam Newton should be on whatever platform he wants to be on right now and talk his shit. Because I understand the bail that everybody wants to cut Brock Purdy and all of that. But you put Patrick Mahomes on San Francisco, and Patrick Mahomes blow out the Kansas City Chiefs. But somebody might say, but you know what? That's Patrick Mahomes. You put Josh Allen on that San Francisco team. You put Lamar Jackson on that San Francisco team. Keep it a buck. Some people might disagree, but hell, you put Justin Fields on that San Francisco team that played the Super Bowl last night, and they win. I just don't think Brock Purdy has enough to will, sorry y'all, the better team. San Francisco has the better defense. They have the better offense. They have the better running back. They have the better wide receivers. They have the better offensive line. They have the better defensive line. They have the better linebackers. They're probably a little bit even on the defensive backfield. Hell, they're even on special teams and kickers and punters too. The San Francisco 49ers on paper was the better team. But when you have Kyle Shanahan coaching the way he did, and you got Brock Purdy who missed some of the passes he missed, because I am actually shocked and surprised that pass to Deebo Samuel that he missed in the end zone is not talked about the same way that Jimmy Garoppolo's missed was. Because if Jimmy Garoppolo hits that pass, they win the Super Bowl, right? If Brock Purdy does not miss Deebo Samuel, they win the Super Bowl last night. Yep. It's over with. It's set. It was a couple of third down passes that I was just like, whoa, they're not doing him like they did Jimmy Garoppolo. This is the same situation. And they're not killing him. And they're not killing him the next day. Maybe it's because he was Mr. Relevant and it's a great story and they don't want to shit on the movie. Same things apply here, y'all. And I just don't think Brock Purdy is the person that's going to will you over the hump. He might get you there, but he's not going to will you over the hump, because as things got closer, you needed somebody to take the reins and say, I got it. Pat did that.
You know who they
Brock
needed?
Purdy didn't.
Joe Flacco.
Hey?
No, bro. You
played your ass.
1,000% right. Like, prime example, that even the final play of the regulation, the third and fourth play, if you get somebody who stands in there can deliver a better ball, the receiver was open. Like, don't get me wrong, they blew the block, and that's another thing that's fucking. It's like deja vu with Kyle Shanahan offenses because that series against the New England Patriots when Matt Ryan got hit for the strip sack, Devontae Freeman blew that block because Devontae Freeman wasn't the third down back all season. Tevin Coleman sprained his ankle when they put Freeman in. He blew the block. Matt Ryan strip sack. They fucking lost the game. But that last play, the play design was money. Brock just didn't deliver a ball that he could have scored on. And then even if you look at Brandon Ayuk, he's running butt naked in the middle of the field wide open.
But yes.
He was running butt naked wide open on 3rd and 4 for a touchdown to win the Super Bowl.
Yes, that skinny post.
Bro, he was wide open. But Purdy was just so shook, he didn't do it. And don't get me wrong, the protection did break down. So I want to cut him some bail on that. But at the same time, like you say, we talk about the game changers versus the game manager. And everybody tried to shit on Cam for that. And yeah, Purdy had an okay game. But in those moments with those, like you said, 4 or 5 throws that a game changer makes, he didn't make them. So like it's a snowball effect. But yeah, bro, it was some throws out there where you sitting at home watching like, oh no, he needs to make that one. Like that was the one that they needed. And so like, especially that last play, that shit was crazy.
There was too many of those, man. And by the way, big shout out to everybody watching us on Instagram right now. That was the thing. Like and that's why I keep saying you gotta get a guy. You gotta get a guy. You gotta get you a guy who can make those fucking throws. If I was Jimmy Garoppolo, I'd be laughing at niggas this morning. Like I did that same shit. And so the reason that we're not cooking Brock Purdy right now is because Kyle Shanahan is a bozo. That's 100% why we're not talking about it. And honestly, I can't even get too mad at Brock Purdy. And this is why. That's just who the nigga is. The problem was people putting him on this fucking pedestal to fucking begin with. There shouldn't have been any talks about putting him up there with Lamar Jackson and Josh Allen. That shit was goofy to fucking begin with. He is who he is. He is a game manager. And I'm very much looking forward to 4th and 1 this week when Cam Newton goes on there. I hope he takes somewhat of a victory lap because you're seeing it. T.Y. Hilton tweeted it not too long ago. He said, the game manager went down the field and gave y'all 3. The game changer went down there and gave y'all 6. That's the fucking difference. 100%. And even if you look, and I'm going to go back to coaching one more time, why I also feel like Kyle Shanahan should be fired once again, the fact that them niggas did not know the overtime rules. I knew the overtime rules. If you didn't know the overtime rules, you had 2 fucking weeks to say that. I mean, to go over. And the fact that the Chiefs actually had overtime drills shows you the difference between the coaching.
Brother, it gets worse. If it gets worse, because, you know, it's 2024. The referees are mic'd up. The fucking official said we're starting a new game. He said it
twice.
And you still fucked up. And you still fucked it up. Like that made no sense. He said, we're going to start a new game. He said, if you score, they get an opportunity. So what do you want to do? And they said, no, we want the ball. Why the fuck would you do that?
Bro, I think
Chris
Jones said
upset
it
again.
I think Chris Jones said it when Chris Berman interviewed last night. He said, we were going to kick the ball regardless, even if we won the coin toss. That's called coaching. These niggas were prepared. And you would think that a nigga who fucked up as much as Kyle Shanahan would be like, I would have thought he'd been in his bunker the last 2 weeks going over every minute detail. No, I'm not going to fuck this up again. And you forget something as easy as fucking overtime? Like,
and I really don't want people to think I'm an Atlanta Falcons fan, but this shit really just pissed me the fuck off all over again. Like, how the fuck you blown 3 double-digit Super Bowl leads? It made
no sense. It don't make no sense. You and a lot of Atlanta people had PTSD.
Yeah, facts.
On the timeline. I saw a lot of that.
I texted the group chat. I said he's doing it again. It's about to happen. Like, it's about to happen. I've seen this story before.
Like, literally, when he put it in, it was literally as Pat. I think Pat made a deep bomb, and I was like, here you go. Here you go. Like, when it was reminiscent of Brady and the way that him and Brady moved. Like, they weren't rushing. There was no hurry up offense. I was like, we got time. We got time.
Fuck that. They got the turnover on the muff punt. Next play was a touchdown.
Yeah.
He said, okay. This is what we call a momentum swing. Let me show y'all how we do this.
Yep.
Man,
That was a gut punch, bro. They were on the sidelines throwing up, nigga. That was worse than when Greenland broke it towards ACL. I mean towards Achilles, which was unfortunate, and that definitely had an effect on the game. But it was one of those moments where it just hits you like, damn.
Real quick. Kansas City defense was tired. They was wiped. They was done. Brock Purdy still couldn't get it done. We're cutting this man too much bail today, ladies and gentlemen. We're cutting him too much bail.
Yep, 100%. One last question, then we're going to move on to our new segment, the Hot Corner, hosted by Courtney. We're going to get into some baseball talk, and we've also got basketball talk on here, man. Since Pavi is en route back from London, and he can't join us today, which also I need to check in summer sessions this week, Story Time with Bang and Story Time with Pav, because Pav got some Chronicles to talk about as well. So tune into that tomorrow on the Patreon. But I will be taking over weekend the association for him, and we're going to go over the topics from the NBA over the past weekend. And then Mikey should be joining us in just a minute as we'll talk Bears, and that'll transition into the local hour. But my last question on this game, where do the Niners go from here? Like, that's the question now, is where do you go from here? Like, this is something that I feel like they're going to have to start thinking about in a couple weeks. Of course, they're going to go through the mourning process. And if you know a Niner fan, give them a hug. Because I know Randy going through it. I ain't even text Randy. I leave niggas alone after they team lose. Like, that's what I do. I wish I'll cuss my damn mom out if the fucking Bears, the 2 Super Bowls, I quit sports.
You're so much better than I am because I be dancing on graves. I'm sorry.
Let's just put this out here right now. Let's put this in the atmosphere to everybody right now. If the Bears go to Super Bowl and they lose, anybody dances on my grave on this program, telling to the audience right now, they will no longer be on this program. Just put that out like that.
The Bears aren't going to the Super Bowl anytime soon.
Okay, all right.
Hey, what Hope and Bleak say on Fade to Black? $1 million gone. You done. Don't do that. That's a no-no.
There's gonna be another replacement on here. Like, damn, what happened to Courtney? I don't know. I take the Bears too seriously, more seriously than I should. But where do the Niners go from here? You know what I'm saying? I honestly don't have the answer. I don't know. He was like, they should go after Kirk Cousins. First of all, Kirk Cousins, even if he didn't tear his Achilles, ain't gonna get the job done. Because if he did, go ahead, Dante. My fault.
Just to be the first to go on this, Kirk Cousins may be the call that he has, because if we remember, Shanahan was in Washington when they drafted Kirk. So I think that's not a situation that they would shy away from.
He tried to get him before. But because for me, again, bro, the talent is there, the scheme is there. Everything you want is there. Your only issues are the few misses at quarterback and the missed decisions, the incorrect decisions by your head coach. But if you're not gonna fire Kyle, what else do you do besides potentially call the Kirk Cousins? But other than that, bro, you stand pat and you try to see if this dickhead actually gets his mind right. Because at this point, everything you need is there. Everything you want is on the table. Like you said, I agree. John Lynch shouldn't get as much bail as he does, but at the same time, he's built a hell of a fucking football team just off the strength that no matter how many times they've missed that quarterback, they've been not only competitive, but they've had multiple times where they've gone to the Super Bowl and they've been right at the doorstep. So you don't need to really make too many changes. You probably this really probably one of those situations where, they need to take like a week where they just don't talk to each other. Everybody go home, go on vacation, do whatever. We all just really take a deep breath and take a step back. Because if you do something drastic, you could really fuck up what you created, because their base is solid and is set. So I don't want them to say, yeah, we lost again. Damn, fuck it. Let's try to do something completely
different. Hold on.
No, not at all.
I'm going to do a bang, say content is king. I got another chaos bomb. If Bill Belichick picks up the phone, do you answer?
Absolutely.
I will pack Kyle Shanahan shit myself.
Correct. No, I will drive that. No. I will drive that man to the airport. Myself.
If you want to be a fucking special advisor, sure. The head coach, no. Stay your old ass at home. Ain't no way in hell.
So you wouldn't have him do that.
No,
so, okay.
No.
Can I give you a comparison? Can I give y'all another comparison? The late 1990s Lakers, nigga. When motherfucking Dale Harris couldn't get the job done. They had Kobe, Shaq. The niggas got swept out the fucking form by the Spurs, and they gave Phil Jackson a call.
Time out. That was a Phil.
Dynasty.
That was a Phil who was home after a couple championships. Bill has been getting his ass kicked a couple seasons, bro. Like
with no quarterback.
Look at his circumstances.
Hey, so you think he's gonna take Brock Purdy to the promised land?
Brock better than them niggas. Brock better than them niggas.
Well, listen, hear me out. But Brock Purdy isn't by end of 2024, right? Yeah. When is his contract shit done?
Yeah,
he a rookie. He got a couple of years.
But either way, bro, like you gonna bring timeout, and you remember one of the things about Atlanta that really shook everybody off. Bill Belichick means Josh McDaniels is coming. It means the dickhead with the pencil in his ear, even though his play sheet is laminated, he's coming. No, we don't. What the fuck? Hell no. Ain't no way in hell. No.
Bang.
No.
If Bill Belichick is calling.
Oh, yeah.
Bang. Would you pick up the phone if Bill Belichick calling?
Hell no. I was waiting for y'all. No.
Also, just for the record, as far as
Brock Purdy
is concerned, it was a 4-year, it was a 4-year, $3.7 million contract.
Why
he's playing for pennies? He's playing for pennies.
Yeah. So he's an unrestricted in 2026.
Trade for Justin Fields. Fuck it.
Women. What do we call him? Bill Parcells?
Justin Fields won that game last night, right, babe?
Yes.
So what do you mean?
Yes. 100%. Fuck Brock Purdy.
Drastic situations call for.
So talk to him, bang.
Yeah, no, yes. Fam, look. I'm not saying Brock, look. I'm not saying that Brock Purdy is not good. What I'm saying is when the moment came, he wasn't there like everybody think he was. Simple as that. He couldn't even get out the pocket, fam. Look at the throws he was doing. Y'all be the ones who be telling me folks be throwing ducks. He was throwing ducks last night. The whole second half, I was looking at my father, and my father even said it. Like, yo, if they don't start talking shit about this man, something wrong. They really like him. And what Bill Belichick gonna do? Like, what is Bill gonna do in this situation? Not a goddamn thing. Because he's not going to make Brock Purdy not throw a duck when the time is needed. So all I'm saying, go watch the game again. You know how the Kansas City Chiefs won that game last night? Because of the legs of Patrick Mahomes. The legs of him. That fourth down and one they had, the legs, because who's that? Nick Bosa didn't take the QB lane like he was supposed to. If he takes the right lane, Patrick Mahomes is stopped and the game is over. But the fact that Pat took that chance said it all. Brock Purdy can't do that like y'all want him to do. So between Brock not having enough to get them over the hump, and Bill Belichick, what we calling him for? Let him take a year off. Let him breathe. Let him relax. Let him watch the game from afar. This is like the first time in like 75 years this nigga get to look at the game from the TV all year long. Let him look at how the game is and say, you know what? I'm going to pop back up in this bitch. Now I'm ready. But no, we not calling him now. No, sit your ass at the crib. Go find you a little pretty young thing and go to what's that? Martha's Vineyard and watch the game there. Like, do that shit.
He already been doing it low key. I don't know if y'all saw the pictures.
Oh, yeah, he snuck out Shorty crib when that rain came.
Yeah, with that shirt on off. I'm like, oh, this nigga hoodie getting busy, bro.
But about to get in a pickup and crack a beer. That nigga look crazy.
But let's move on. That concludes Super Bowl footage. Very not footage, coverage. Very spirited discussion. Shout out to everybody who were watching. Our views were the highest during that, man. So we're going to move on as the football season ends. That means more focus on, of course, NBA playoffs a couple months away. All-Star weekend is this weekend in Indianapolis, but that also means baseball. It's around the corner, pitchers and catchers about to report. Yeah, I can almost smell the grass. I can smell the beer. You can hear the cracking of the bat. Pause. Everything
Then
going
they
on.
say you can taste the air, nigga. Taste the air.
Taste the air. So to do that, we have a new segment hosted by our one and only Courtney Colabro. It's called The Hot Corner, where each and every week she'll be giving you her takes on the biggest topics in baseball. And also, this will be great for Dante and Mikey because y'all also love talking baseball just as much as she does. So, Courtney, the floor is yours. What is going on in the world of baseball right now?
I mean, there's a lot of stuff going on in baseball right now. I saw Shohei Ohtani taking some sweet swings, and that is in Dodger blue. Oh, it was glorious. Yeah, the first thing that I really wanted to talk about, especially, I'm sorry that Mikey isn't in here for this, but Dante, you'll have to see, stop me.
I'm gonna text him right now. He said he's supposed to be joining. I'm gonna text him now. Go ahead.
All right, bet. Can the Rangers repeat? It's been a long time since baseball has had a repeat World Series winner. Before I give my thoughts, Dante, what do you think?
Dante, here we go.
Well, no, yeah, that is a great question. To your point, it is extremely difficult to repeat in baseball. Like we keep talking about team sports, and baseball is one of those sports where there's so many moving parts, and for you to not only go through 162 games, make it out relatively healthy, but then go through the playoff gauntlet where you have teams that are hot. You may be a team that gets a week off of this selling. You got to play a team that's been beating ass for the last month. So it's tough. My only thing with the Rangers is starting pitcher. I need to see how they retool, if there's any more moves they're going to make. I know we're going into the spring training, so right now rosters are pretty much set. We still got, some vets trying to make the roster and things of that nature. So obviously, like I said, right now, it's tough to not go with the field. It's really tough not to. But again, when you have the money invested in that middle of the infield like they have, you have a lot of young players. Josh Jung, you have a lot. I forgot the outfielder's name, but he's one of the top young prospects. So you got, bro, you have a lot of talent on that roster. So this is a team that I think they're equipped to make a run again. They're definitely set up to where they could get closer than we've seen teams get to in recent memory. But it's so tough in baseball to repeat that I still got to say no. Like as much as I want to give them, a little bit of an edge, it's tough. Like that's a hell of a request to go back to back in baseball.
Mikey is currently pairing his headphones, so he will be
beautiful.
on.
Yeah. I need my man in here for this. But to respond, I agree with you. About how difficult it is to repeat. But I will listen. By the time Max Scherzer gets back, Jacob deGrom, God willing, gets back, for the second half of the season, the cavalry's coming. In a market right now, there's a real shortage of starting pitching. Hi, Mikey.
You talking about the Astros revenge tour or what?
Hey, baseball time, my boy.
The
Astros revenge tour?
Yeah, you talking about the Astros, the Altuve 5 years, he's about to go crazy. Is that what we're talking about?
I ain't worried about that, man.
What's the word, y'all?
What's going on, brother? How you feeling?
Chilling, man. I was catching the whole first half of the show in traffic.
You saw Flows and Dante Cook, Cal Shanahan the Hill.
I heard Floyd got brought into the show, so it's a classic Monday episode I'm hearing.
Definitely, man, definitely. But yeah, go ahead, Mikey. We were just in the beginning of Courtney's segment, the hot corner. What's your can the Rangers repeat?
It's very tough, man. Contrary to what the Chiefs shown yesterday, it's very tough to repeat, especially in baseball. I don't know. I don't think so. I think if I had to put money on, on the Rangers repeating or the field, I'll put my money on the field. But I still think that they have a very deep team, and they're going to be able to hit the shit out the ball. So we'll see what's up with DeGrom when DeGrom comes back. We'll see what's up with Scherzer, and then I wonder if Jordan Montgomery would re-sign with them, or what are we doing as long as we get back? As long as we get closer to pitchers and catchers reporting this week. Maybe he's somebody that could come, a weekend. But Yeah, I don't think they could repeat, but I still think that they're a team worth watching in the AL for sure.
Well, that being said, it kind of segues into my next question, which is who, in your opinion, is the biggest threat to the Rangers repeating this season in both American League and National League?
That's a good one. I would have to go to their division rival, their in-state rival, the Houston Astros. I think last year we saw a very uncharacteristic baseball played by that team. A lot of mental errors, a lot of pitching errors. Coming as far as in the back of that bullpen, it wasn't as strong. I think that they found a way to bounce back if they could get a healthy full season out of Yordan Alvarez, if Kyle Tucker's bat from that left side could continue to improve. We're looking at possibly maybe the last year of Alex Bregman playing the hot corner for them, depending what he's going to command contract wise. So I would start with the Astros, and then a sleeper team for me, and they've been my sleeper team for a while. Their time is running up with the Toronto Blue Jays. The Toronto Blue Jays have more than enough. I just think they haven't put it together. I think it's very interesting. We'll see in the next couple days, next week, if they can go ahead and land Cody Bellinger. I think they need that left-handed impact bat to go ahead and break up the monotony of George Springer batting leadoff, of a Bo Bichette and a Vlad Guerrero, all righties. Cody Bellinger sliding into that offense would be amazing in Toronto. You got Kevin Gossman, you got Jose Barrios, you have Kikuchi, you have some guys, maybe Alek Manoah could put it together, but I think this is it for the Blue Jays. They have Bo Bichette for 2 more years on contract, Vlad on contract for 2 more years. So I really love their offense. I just think that they would be a team for me that can definitely compete. I think in the AL East, the Rays will probably go down. They're going to lose Wander, so now that's a whole full season without that production. Contrary to him being the nasty motherfucker that he is, he was somebody you feared in that lineup. They move on from Glasnow. I think the Rays take a step back. The Orioles, they're young. They have to get it. We'll see. Corbin Burns is there, but they have to show me something. I think the Blue Jays are primed to make a run this year. I think they have a chip on their shoulder, and I would love for them to add Cody Bellinger.
Now, I notice that you did not say the New York Yankees. Why is that?
I think still. Facts, but I think it still comes down to pitching. I mean, can they land a Blake Snell? Can they bring Jordan Montgomery back? Can they go ahead and solidify that rotation? Carlos Rodon came back late in the season, and Dante Scott. We already know what the Carlos Rodon experience is. He's going to give you 2 IL stints a year, so they invested a lot of money in him. But I'm not sure. Juan Soto. Fitting in between that lineup somewhere. I don't know where they're going to slot him, but in between.
I think probably third. I think they'll probably have him batting after Aaron Judge.
And that's going to be amazing. I mean, for somebody who came on and hit over 30 home runs last year, as long as Stanton can stay healthy batting fourth, that's going to be ridiculous. They'll be able to put up runs. I just don't know if they have the pitching.
Not even with the addition of Marcus Stroman? Doesn't move the needle for you?
That's my Puerto Rican brother, but nah. That's my Puerto Rican brother, but nah.
He's half of your Puerto Rican brother, be honest.
You know what I'm saying? Every other year. I gotta opt in. I gotta opt in with him every other year. I was rocking with him last year with the Cubs because I thought he was doing some things on the north side, and then he went across the pond to London, and he came back down to earth. So no, I think you have to look at teams that have deep pitching and that have length in their lineup. Pause. That's the Astros, that's the Blue Jays, and that's the Rangers too.
National League, anyone obviously besides the evil overlords of the Los Angeles Dodgers?
It's the Dodgers. It's the Dodgers.
It's the Dodgers.
Your new favorite team, right?
Right. New favorite team.
That hat, by the way, is crazy.
We coming.
I would say that obviously the Dodgers are up there. The Braves and the Phillies. Those are the only 3 teams. Those are the only 3 teams that I think have the Humble Park doesn't claim Stroman. Nah, that's an Elmwood Park motherfucker. Right. He a transplant. He moved up. He couldn't hack it at Kelvin Park, so they sent them over to Elmwood Park. I would say the Phillies, the Braves, the Dodgers. those teams. Every year we get, a shocker. I mean, look at the Arizona Diamondbacks, the defending NL champions. But yeah, I would say those three teams. I think they just have a perfect lineup, top to bottom, and then the pitching to complement it. Plus, they're battle tested. It's always going to come down to we're going to be in July, and the Braves and the Dodgers are on pace for 100+ wins, but it's all going to come down to what they do in September and October. So I don't see any surprise, people. I really thought the Chicago Cubs were going to be bigger players in free agency this year and add some impact to kind of push, because I think that NL Central is right there for the taking. But they really haven't done that. They've gone quiet. I think they're realizing that right now isn't their time to go all in. Their window hasn't even opened yet. So yeah, I'm gonna ride with the Phillies and the Dodgers as the NL, Phillies, Dodgers, and the Braves as the NL powerhouses to probably compete with the Rangers, Astros of the world.
So I'm looking over the remaining free agents now, just while we were talking about it. And yeah, there's still a lot of big names on the board. And guys are reporting now. Cody Bellinger is still a free agent. Matt Chapman, Blake Snell, Jordan Montgomery, of course. There's a lot of guys that need home. How is Jorge Soler unemployed right now?
So yeah, that's the Cubano homie. Soler's looking for like a 3-year deal. I know he was in talks with the Giants. I don't understand what the Marlins were doing, letting him go. But Courtney, it's funny that you mentioned all those guys. The one person that they have in common is Scott Boras. Those are all Boras agents. So we'll see them sign very soon, but it's clear that I don't know if you could say collusion or what, but none of these teams are paying up for the Boras guys, which is interesting, knowing that Juan Soto, his number one prize client, is going to be a prospective free agent soon. So there's some guys out there. I think Blake Snell intrigues me. You always have to go with pitching, guys that can eat innings. So Blake Snell intrigues me. Does somebody, like the Phillies have some money for him? Do the Yankees have money for him? Where is he looking to go? I don't know what he's looking contract wise, what he's trying to command, but I think the Cubs
won the Cy Young last year and doesn't have a job. That's crazy.
It's insane. It's insane. But you also look at the amount of innings he's thrown over the last couple years. He is definitely older, and he screams, "I need 7-8 years." As this is his window. Which like you said, Courtney, he won the Cy Young last year, and he's still a free agent the week that pitchers and catchers report. So he's probably going to have to be somebody that takes a 4-year deal with the opt out after year 2, or a 3-year deal with the opt out after 1. And it's a high, average annual value for his salary. So there are some big free agents out there. I'm really interested to see where Cody Bellinger goes, just because that's an impact power bat. I think GMs across the league are saying the same thing that a lot of us are saying at home is, Cody, you had an amazing resurgent year with the Cubs after, a flaming out with the Dodgers. Do it again before we pay you. So he's probably going to have to be somebody that takes a shorter term deal and not get that 7-year, $220 million deal that was first reported.
So for me, I know the Rangers, their whole rotation right now is righties. Blake Snell's 31 years old right now. He would look pretty good in a Rangers uniform. They could use a lefty. You know who's also still a free agent? He's a little bit older, albeit, but when he was on. Hyunjin Ryu.
Oh yeah.
My Korean curveball king.
Yeah. No, that's a nice 4th or 5th for a deep team in the playoffs. We'll see. I'm really interested to see where Blake Snell goes.
That being said, who won the offseason? And I'm not going to include the Dodgers in this conversation because,
I was just about to say that.
I mean, listen, it's unfair, right? It's unfair when you have a team that Tyler Glasnow, trading for Tyler Glasnow would have been any team's big haul, right? That's okay. Yeah, we did what we needed to do this offseason. But no, they went and signed Shohei Ohtani to that ridiculous deal, and Yamamoto, which that's going to be stupid. That team is going to be so stupid. But other than the Dodgers, what teams were the winners and the losers of this offseason?
You have to go with the Atlanta Braves for me. Adding Chris Sale into that rotation. Now you pair him with Max Fried, Spencer Strider. I still believe they have Bryce Elder. You have to go with Chris Sale and the Braves, and then adding Jared Kelenic. I'm 100% convinced that the Braves will figure out a way to keep him healthy, to keep his bat in the lineup, and that's only going to lengthen their lineup. 1 through 9 is ridiculous. I was looking at the Braves, Dodgers lineup, and I'm still riding with the Braves because I just think they have so much depth. They have so much more. They're a little bit more proven 6 through 9. So I would go with the Braves, and then the biggest losers to me would be the Chicago Cubs. I mean, their biggest move was adding Craig Counsell. What does that do? 5 to 6 more wins? I guess 5 to 6 more wins gets you into the playoffs. But if you lose somebody like Cody Bellinger, you have nobody to replace him. I don't care what anybody says. I understand he got a large contract from the Cubs last offseason, but Dansby Swanson cannot carry an offense for a full 162 plus the playoffs. Seiya Suzuki got hot towards the end, but we haven't seen him do it yet. Christopher Morel, I love his energy. I love his bat. I think he has 30 home run potential. But all of these guys, none of these guys can carry a lineup. You need that stability and somebody like Cody Bellinger who's been there before. And if they don't re-sign him, then I don't know how they feel that production this year. So I would have the Braves as my winner outside of the Dodgers just for being able to add to their rotation and get another lefty batting Kelenic. And then the Cubs are my losers for sure.
I have a crazy one. You're just going to have to hear me out on this as far as the winner of the offseason. The Kansas City Royals had a quietly nice offseason. Very quiet. Now, again, I know the bar is kind of in hell considering that they won like 60 games last season. It was not pretty. But like they had a quietly nice offseason. Losers, what is Miami doing?
Yeah.
What is their game plan? Now, listen, I know they're gonna have to take a step back because Alcantara's out for the season, but he's out for the season, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's a brutal loss. But you made the playoffs last season. Why are you? I just don't understand this like regression that they're undergo. I don't get it. It doesn't make any sense to me.
I just think they don't have the offense.
The Royals. I'm watching the Royals. I peeped. Okay, I peeped the Royals.
That Bobby Witt Jr. contract moved you?
It wasn't just they signed Michael Walker, they signed Will Smith, Garrett Hampson, Adam Frazier. I know those aren't like marquee guys, but I mean, they could piece together a nice little season there.
Yeah, so I'll just take off my White Sox hat now since you're saying the Royals are going to be better than them.
I mean, yeah, the White Sox.
Yeah, nigga, we know that. You know that.
Unrelated, the fall off of a certain Chicago White Sox shortstop needs to be studied. Okay,
He's still not signed.
He's still a free agent.
Yeah, he's still a free agent.
I don't know where he's going.
So what is Seattle doing?
Yeah, Seattle too. Seattle, it's just their ownership. Their ownership does not want to. Their ownership doesn't want to play at the deep end of the pool, and that's why they were able to lock in, J-Rod at such an amazing contract, right after his rookie season. But they don't want to. They don't really have aspirations to contend the way they should. They're just gonna try to probably sneak their way in and try to get hot. They have pitching and Logan Gilbert and Kirby. Brian Wu, like they have pitching there. So I understand the need. I understand the need to not spend, but I think they could have still used some more bats, especially they lost Teoscar Hernandez.
Jorge Polanco though.
Yes.
They did. Well, I forgot who was in that trade package though. I know they gave up someone interesting.
Yeah, but it was more of a prospect. I don't think it was anybody that had been on the major league level yet. So we'll see. I love the Mariners, man. I always love them. I think a lot of us were Mariners fans growing up just because of Griffey.
Yeah, I think also I saw Julio put on his Instagram last night. He's a Super Bowl. He said, "I can't wait to say this." I'm like, "Well, nigga, you have to get out of Seattle because ain't gonna be having that shit there." But that's all we've got for the first edition of the Hot Corner. Courtney will be doing this each and every week, probably on Mondays when we get like an actual schedule together, but probably on Mondays we want all your baseball talk. So for we do everything over here. I'm not gonna hold you, just not football and basketball, man. And speaking of basketball, before we got Courtney, I know you don't want to hear us talk about the Bears and the NBA. So
thank you for your mercy. Thank you for having some mercy on me. If I have to hear y'all talk about fucking Caleb Williams one more time, I'm gonna stab myself in the ear with a pin.
Wow. Okay. Well, you're gonna be very upset.
I want better for y'all. Do you understand? No. I'm rooting for you. We are all rooting for you. How dare you? I gotta watch y'all rehash Drake May, Caleb Williams. Okay. Oh my goodness.
You don't get the pain that we're going through over here. Okay.
I'm also talking about the most irrelevant team in Southern California. Oh, the Angels?
The Angels?
The Angels?
Yeah.
I mean, I got smoke for the Angels. That is a masterclass in absolute just
not doing anything.
Loserdom. Ain't shitness. Because what are they doing? Also promote Michael Stefanik, goddammit.
They're not going to do anything. Damian is going through hard times right now. It's pray for him. Courtney, let me know they get in tune with you.
Yeah, follow me on X, Instagram, all of the above at 1-800-CALLA-BRO. If you guys have anything that like you would prefer, like maybe you wanna hear us talk about baseball wise, hit my line. I am my DMs are open. Yeah, hit my line. I'm always down to talk about ball. So hit me up.
She said her DM's open for baseball, Orlando.
Baseball only.
Baseball only. All right, Courtney, we'll holler at you on Friday.
All right, cheers, guys.
So now we're going to do a segment that we started the last couple of weeks called Weekend in the Association. As you can see, my brother right here, Pat Vito. That nigga's not here today. That nigga is en route back from London. So if you want to know how his trip went, check in tomorrow on Summer Sessions because it will be story time with Bang and story time with Pav tomorrow. So check that out on the Patreon, man. But I'm going to fill in for him because we are unfortunately at the beginning of a lot of NBA coverage over here, man. As the All-Star weekend kicks off this weekend in Afghanistan, as them niggas out there like to call it, which is a dumbass name. Chirac, Afghanistan.
Wait, what the fuck? What they call it?
Them niggas call that shit Afghanistan. That's what them GDs over there call that shit. Yeah. Speaking of GDs, I did not know Mike Epps was one of the guys.
Yes.
Oh yeah, that's why when Shay was. That's why when Shay was talking that shit, like Shay, you don't want to meet up with him in Indianapolis.
You know, yeah. And that's what he said. He said on his IG, he said, yeah, all right, pull up there. Pull up to that. But let's get into my first topic of Weekend in the Association, and that is my boy, Mr. Luka Doncic. Luka Doncic right now, currently, as it is going on, after just having a crazy couple weeks at 73 points the other week, he currently is averaging 28.4 points per game, shooting 46.9 from the field. He is also averaging 8 rebounds a game, 8 assists a game, and he has got this team, man. I think they made one of the most stealth trade deadline moves of the deadline last week. Kyrie Irving is finally back from his injury. He's been cooking. The Dallas Mavericks have won 4 in a row. They are 30-23 at the 8th spot, and they are a half game out of 7. They are a full game out of the actual playoffs right now. 2 games. They're really all in the mix right now. They are only like 2 games out of the 5th spot right now currently. So big shout out to them. And I think that getting the additions of Daniel Gafford and also getting PJ Washington, both those guys had 35 points combined over the weekend against the Oklahoma City Thunder. I think it's time to start talking about Luka getting the MVP push here. I think that with Joel Embiid being eliminated from the race, obviously because of his injury, we talked about this last week about who are going to be the top candidates to get in the MVP race. And everybody brought up Shea. Pat brought up Shea. I said that Kawhi Leonard should get some looks. Of course, Jahns is always going to be in the conversation. I really think that if Luka and them continue on this win streak, they can get 8 to 9 games in a row. That this is a guy who can be able to do it and get that MVP consideration. Now, granted, he still will have a lot to compete with the Thunder and Shea, obviously, because they're a better team right now. They are the number 2 seed in the Western Conference. But this is something right now that I feel like could give them a real good chance to actually get into that race if they can keep this up. And nobody, of course, the NBA is just dying to give Luka the MVP. in this particular time with everybody being hurt. Bang, I'm gonna go to you. I don't know how much you've been paying attention to the NBA or not, or Luka, but what you think about him having a chance to maybe get this MVP?
Definitely just one of those situations where it's like, all right, a couple of players ain't gonna win it, mainly because they ain't gonna play the most, they ain't gonna play enough games. So it's definitely probably shy of Luka's award for the taking. In the way that he's blitzed, he's blitzed the league, especially with that 70+ point performance. It wouldn't be a shock with certain people being out, But I am interested in seeing what the Clippers do. Like, can Kawhi keep it up? If he keeps it up, if they could get and keep that number one seed, do you put him in there? Is Shy somebody that we're going to continue to have to look at? It's Man, I feel bad saying this, but it's just gonna be a war of attrition to see who plays the right amount of games in order to win the MVP. And Luka plays all the time, so it wouldn't shock me.
Dante, I'm not Dante, but my bad. Mikey, you are a gambling man, the king gambler here. What you think about Luka play? Do you think he can be in this MVP race?
100%. I think you sold him short, man, with the historic run he's on. In his last 10 games, he's the first player ever to have 300 total points, 100 assists, and 100 rebounds in the last 10 games.
Damn.
I saw that stat. I saw that stat the other day come across the ticker, and I legit text my homie, and he's like, "Bro, I just sat the fuck up in my seat reading that. Like I had to rewind it." So he's on a historic run. Um, this is the perfect complemented team for him. You got spacing on the floor. You got guys like Gafford that'll rim protect, rebound, crash out. PJ Washington can knock down the three. I've seen over the weekend that there was some personality concerns over Grant Williams and how he fit in that locker room. So they had to get him out there. I think this is Luka's best team. His odds to start the season, they were probably, he had some good money. You would have dropped a 50 spot on him. You would have won a couple hundo. Now I think he's third. He's, the third favorite. You have Jokic, you have Shea, and then you have Luka, but the odds aren't too far apart when it comes to SGA and Luka. So I think this is an amazing team. Another person that's been hooping has been Kyrie. So I wonder if he continues to have some kind of, the performances he's having, if that takes away from the Luka voting, and it skews more towards SGA since he's really the only proven commodity on that OKC team though. But what Luka's doing is special, and he's must see TV every night, and he will play tonight. So
Dante, what you think about Luka? You think he got a shot at this MVP?
Yeah, he always have a shot because his numbers are always there. It's just a matter of what the Mavericks are able to do in the win column. I know Joker has kind of changed the precedent a bit, so they don't necessarily have to be barely a top 4 team, but if they can get to stay in that top 4, sneak into the top 2, 3 with his numbers. I think that Shea, like you said, Shea is probably the number 1 contender with Embiid going down, but he'll definitely be in the conversation. It's just a matter of how he does, from the team standpoint, which, he has no control in that to a certain extent. But basketball is one sport where one player can affect things more than, any other sport. So I think Luka, he'll definitely be in the conversation by the time the year is over.
Definitely, man. My second and final topic in Weekend in Association is the Cleveland Cavaliers. The Cleveland Cavaliers. I feel like once the NFL season comes to an end and you get out of the fog and you look at the standings, you look at what people have been doing, it's like, oh, the fucking Minnesota Timberwolves are number 1 and like shit like that. One thing that I paid attention to a week ago was that the fucking Cleveland Cavaliers have been fucking dominating right now. They're currently the number 2 seed in the Eastern Conference, 35-16. They have won 9 in a row, and they have won 9 out of their last 10. And they've actually I think they've won something crazy like 17 out of their last 19 or something crazy like that. Donovan Mitchell's been going crazy. They've been on a run ever since they got Darius Garland back. JB Bigstaff is really putting together a good, run right now, and they are 2 games up on the Milwaukee Bucks, who I've given up on the Bucks. I kept thinking that they're going to click, that they're going to get it, and that they'll be better than what they are. But that team, I just feel like it is what it is. And now they have an opportunity right here to build off what they did last year and really be able to, have home court in the first round and be able to see a path towards, going head-to-head against Boston in the Eastern Conference Finals. They're an actual threat to this now. We know last year when they got in the playoffs, they really, really struggled against the Knicks. And I really want to see what it's going to be like the next time they play, because I do still think the Knicks provide a bad matchup for them. But you got to love everything that you're seeing from the Cleveland Cavaliers right now, and especially with rumors that, Donovan Mitchell doesn't want to be there. I want to go to Mikey first. Mikey, do you think that this team has a legit, chance to get to the Eastern Conference Finals, or are you still looking at teams who are more well established, like the Milwaukee Bucks and even a team like the New York Knicks?
Nah, I'm still gonna go to a couple other teams before I go to the Cavs. The Cavs are just gonna have to be one of those teams that shows it to me. I'm just gonna have to be like, damn, I wasn't a believer. I just think when you get to the playoffs and the game slows down and it becomes a half court game, I just wonder how they can play that way. A lot of their stuff is get out, run, throw the lobs to Jared Allen, you got Evan Mobley, Mitchell. We've seen him in the playoffs. He hasn't really, held his own. So the Cavs they are hooping. They shocked me too the other day when I saw where they were as far as the standings and what they've been doing from a win-loss perspective. But I'm not sold on them. I still think when Julius Randle comes back, that I got the Knicks over them in the 7-game series. I'm with you. I'm out on the Bucks. Damn, some shit just broke in my closet.
Nigga, feds ran through your shit.
You know what I'm saying? I thought they were gonna bust through the door. But yeah. So and then I would have had the Sixers too, but we don't know with Joel's situation when he's coming back though. But I still would probably take the Knicks over them, and I would probably, unpopular opinion, but I'll probably take the Heat over them. I still think when it comes down to a half-court game, I'll take the team with the better defense. I'll take the team that's been there before, and I just don't fuck with Donovan Mitchell.
I don't really fuck with Donovan Mitchell either. I don't have like a legitimate reason for why I don't. I just don't. He just you look somebody like, I don't believe you. That's just really what I look when I look at Donovan Mitchell.
He's just darker skinned Zach LaVine to me. He's just darker skinned Zach LaVine. Empty stats. That's where we get it. Empty stats.
I agree with that one. Bang, you famously said nobody gives a damn about the Detroit Lions. Do you agree that nobody gives a damn about the Cleveland Cavaliers with Cleveland?
Hell yeah, don't nobody give a damn about the Cleveland Cavaliers. You know who gives a damn about the matter of fact, hold on for a second. Hold on. I'm gonna get. I think this right here needs a desired effect. Hold on for a second, because Cleveland is one of my markets, and I really want to ask this question to somebody that's in Cleveland. Hey, yo, Matty Wills, friend of he's one of my employees, but you're currently on I'm Not Gonna Hold You with my mans Scott, Dante, Mikey. I feel like this is Joe Budden podcast.
Yeah, this is like Joe Budden right now. Yeah.
All right. So the topic that they brought up was about the Cleveland Cavaliers and how they've gone in this streak, man. How y'all feeling in Cleveland about this streak, and do anybody give a damn in Cleveland?
Oh, of course people care about it, man. It's like the it's the perfect icing on the cake for the Browns fizzling out so bad. But yeah, of course we cared. Here's the deal though. One of the things that we don't respect is there's no, I won't say no, but I'll say not nearly enough national attention on my boys, on my Cavaliers right now. We're the hottest team in the league. Not only are we the hottest team in the league, but we've been knocking off some real contenders out there. We done beat the Clippers. We done knocked off Milwaukee twice. I know Milwaukee's not right now, but they still got Giannis and Dame. And the Cavs is hot.
So basically what you're saying is Nobody gives a damn about the Cleveland Cavaliers, but the Cleveland Cavaliers in Cleveland.
Seemingly so, but this the land. This what we used to, man. The Browns won 11 games, and they ain't start talking positively about us until it was like week 15. So, we don't sweat that kind of stuff. The only thing that we hoping for right now is a victory in the first round of the playoffs, a competitive series in the second round of the playoffs, hopefully with home court, and hopefully that'll be enough to keep Donovan Mitchell and wine and gold.
All right, last question before I let you go. Is Donovan Mitchell dark-skinned Zach LaVine?
I mean, I feel like Zach's a little taller, but I'm going to be honest. Donovan Mitchell, in my opinion, is the second most skilled Cleveland Cavalier of all time. I know he don't have no playoff success, and I know he's only been here for a hot minute. But in terms of putting the ball in the basket, for my money and I've been watching, for the last 20 plus years, I don't know that I would pick any other former Cavalier to have a bigger impact on the game from a scoring perspective than I will for Donovan Mitchell.
All right, man. Well, thank you for joining the show, and I'm on PTO. Just a reminder, I'm on PTO.
I was about to say, man, don't forget, man, use your PTO, man, on some real stuff. Use it, relax, and come back recharge, bro. We be waiting on you.
All right, man, I'm holla.
Hey, Bang, you got to fire his ass. Did Kyrie Irving just die or something? What happened? Well, come on now. What the fuck? What? Did Kyrie Irving just pass? Is he in one of those tunnels somewhere? What's going on, man?
No, that trade request really hurt.
Didn't die on the cross for this.
Scott, I think we found the clip. I think
100%. 100%. That is the clip.
You got a fire, buddy.
Kyrie Irving didn't die on the cross for this.
Well, now, shout out to my man Matty Wills though. But yeah, but he said what I said. Nobody give a damn about the Cleveland Cavaliers. But the Cleveland Cavaliers and his fans. So, this means I can't step foot in the station. Anytime soon.
They gonna press you.
Shouts out to Sam Silk's Chicken and Fish, though. You know what I'm saying?
Big shout out to Dante, what's your opinion on this? And then we're gonna close this out and move on to the Bears.
Fuck Cleveland. Final answer.
And that is Weekend in the Association. The 15-minute version by us. Pappy will be back on Monday to give y'all more in-depth hoop knowledge. But we're going to do here something that everybody has been looking forward to. We're going to talk a little bit about the Bears. We're going to transition this into overtime. If you want to listen to overtime, that means you need to subscribe to Patreon right now, patreon.com/BarbersChair Network. So you can get everything we got over there. We're going to be talking about a lot of Bears stuff over there. That will be up tonight. And also something that will be up tonight, man. I just did an interview today with my man Adam Jahns. He is one of the executive writers over there at the Athletic Chicago. He is also one half of the Hogue and Jahns podcast, which is one of the best Bears podcasts in the city, man. Definitely get in tune with them. And he's one of the cool guys on the Bears beat, man. So I had a nice little 30-minute conversation with him today about things going on with the Bears and what they're looking at Caleb and things like that. So we're going to play a clip. Dante can cue up the clip that I have from him where I asked him what he thinks the Bears are thinking right now about Caleb Williams. We're in the middle of sources season, as I like to call it. Everybody got a source. Everybody done heard this. Everybody done heard that. As we get into the ultimate gospel event, which is the NFL Combine, from everything that you heard, or from things you heard from like other high people who know what they're talking about, what do you think where the Bears are leaning at as of right now before the Combine comes?
They're going to draft Caleb Williams. Yeah, that's everything I've heard. Sometimes it's as simple as this is Ryan Poles' opportunity. Yes, he could probably take another swing on this with Justin Fields, trade the first pick for an amazing haul, which includes a 2025 draft pick. But you don't know how that's going to play out in 2025. Like things played out as perfect as can be in 2024. It is the dream scenario. You got the first pick again, and yes, I do think part of the Bears, at least their organization, hoped that Justin Fields was a bit better, that the numbers were better, that the 2-minute situations were better, that the fourth quarter numbers were better, that the third down numbers were better. So they could trade that and just load up. But that just didn't happen. So everything I've heard from outside the building, around the league, is that the Bears have their eyes on Caleb Williams. And this is an amazing situation that Ryan Poles has to take advantage of. He gave himself this opportunity. And it just seems extremely unlikely that he's going to pass on Caleb Williams after passing on the quarterbacks last year.
Big shout out to Hogue, man. I hope my bad. Big shout out to Jahns, man. It was a great interview. A lot of nuggets in there. He gave me a lot of good shit. That is going to be available tonight. I'm gonna upload that right with the local hours. Nice 30-minute conversation, man. We talked about everything from Caleb. We talked about Justin Fields, what he possibly could end up. He also gave me why he thinks that the Bears are going to be throwing some smoke bombs out there, throwing their own rumors out there. He also tells me what he thinks about Flus, you know what I'm saying, about whether or not is he going to be a guy who's going to hold this up, from being a championship team, and a whole bunch of stuff, man. So big shout out my guy Adam Jahns, man. Check out the interview tonight. I'm not going to have a time because, it takes me a little while, but I'm 3 hours behind everybody, but it will be up tonight on the Patreon. Once again, that is patreon.com/Barbers Chair Network. You can check all of that out. So we're going to be giving you a lot of exclusive content on there, man. So what did y'all think about what Adam says? We're going to spend these next 10, 15 minutes talking about this, and then, kind of paint a world, and, kind of what Adam was talking about, the Bears throwing their own smoke bombs out of there. Dante, go ahead first. What you think?
I want to say, I don't know if y'all peeped it, but I tweeted this probably 20 minutes into the episode. What if we just said, fuck it, and traded Justin and the number 9 pick to number 3 for New England, and we go get Caleb and Marvin? Let's just stop playing, man. Let's just stop fucking around. We're going to make a splash. Let's make a splash. Let's just really fucking do it. At this point, the writing's on the wall. Caleb is going to be our quarterback unless he goes into this interview and just says, fuck Chicago. If anything else happens, he will be our quarterback.
And
that's just where I am. That's where I'm at with
the interview too. He tells me what he's been hearing from Caleb.
And I'm about to say,
Johnson is king, nigga.
Listen, and I might, matter of fact, I'm not gonna say it. Pay the $5 and we'll tell you what he said. But it lines up with everything we've been saying. So
pay the $5, man. Motherfucker need a haircut and a taper over here. Pay the $5.
I got kids.
You got it. You seen the view, nigga. Pay the $5.
Pay the $5. No. Bang got to fire an employee this week, so he, you know what I'm saying?
But nah, bro. At this point, no. I don't care what any type of trade package looks like. Last night showed you can go with the guy that's okay. You can get the guy that's the fucking guy. And you got an opportunity to go get a guy, bro. Go get him. So hearing that at this point, no matter how I feel about Justin, I still think he'll be good somewhere else. But in terms of this situation, what we need to do is more so we need to be figuring out what we're going to put around Caleb to make him be as successful as possible.
Definitely. Bang, Mikey, what y'all think about what Adam just said?
Yeah, Mikey?
I actually, man, I think it's for the first time this whole process since it ended and the whole Caleb Justin debate. What happened? I'm back.
Yeah, you good. You good.
I'm good.
You good.
Yeah, okay, I'm cool. What is it? I think this is the first time throughout this whole process since the season ended and since knowing that we locked down the first pick that I'm actually excited. I think it got me excited just knowing that there's a direction. They want to take a swing at their guy. We've been talking about it. Ryan Poles, since he's been here, he's always made an emphasis of the premium positions. So offensive line, as far as the tackles, cornerbacks, defensive end, he's addressed them at some point he's addressed them or taken a stab at them. And the only one that he hasn't gone at is quarterback. So I think this just is what it is. I'm with Dante. Fire up that package. Even if you have to throw in, maybe, you throw in Justin, you throw in the 9, and you throw in a mid-round pick to move up. I'm with it. Do what you got to do to surround Caleb with more offensive firepower, more protection, and it's gonna be an interesting next couple months, and especially I want to see how how he does coming out of the combine as far as his interviews and what he says publicly. This will be the first time we've heard from him.
Bang, go ahead.
I did not think about Justin Fields and that number 9 and moving up. I did not think about that until you just said it today. Man, if that happens, do you not know? Man, look. Pay that. Hey, I
man,
might. I'm just gonna cash that.
Pay the tax, bro. Pay the tax.
We talked about. Hey, no, man, I'm gonna email you, nigga. What you talking?
I'm just saying. I will pay. I will pay you. No, I will pay you for getting this because that's what we're supposed to do. Support each other. Look, if
I can't wait
to
get a hold of this clip that I tweet out tomorrow.
Yeah, but man, if we do that, or if there's any conversation about that being had, that the Bears could trade Justin and that number 9 and move up to number 3, and we could get, there's a chance for us to get Caleb and Marvin or any wide receiver at this point. Bruh, man.
If the Bears leave Detroit, Michigan with Caleb Williams and Marvin Harrison Jr., meet me at Sweetwater Tavern. All drinks are on me, nigga. I will clear, nigga. I'll be the new Action Foley in that motherfucker. I'll clear the tab, nigga. But check that out. We're getting ready to transition now to the local hour. So as you see at the bottom of the screen, you need to subscribe, patreon.com/Barber's Network. We're going to talk about a little bit the interview will be available at the same time this will be available. We're going to talk about what would a haul for Caleb Williams look like, because that was a little thing that Ryan posed throughout this week. We're going to talk about Justin Fields. Is he possibly going to Pittsburgh? The Bears have some interest in Danielle Hunter. When we talk about Justin Fields, we also got Brad Biggs. Brad Biggs said that Justin is basically 100% done in Chicago. We want to talk about, is there any Flus concerns? And I added this because I was talking about you got to get a guy, and then Mikey put in one of the funniest pictures of Eberflus I've ever seen in my life in the group chat. So we're going to talk about, is Flus going to hold anybody back? And then we also a little small Bulls nugget. Westside West is rumored to be part of the search to replace my man Mix Kupchak in Charlotte. So we'll be talking about all that on the Patreon. I will say this. If you enjoyed this Adam Jahns interview, this will not be the last one. I got some shit lined up. Just letting y'all know, Bear season's here, man. So y'all know to follow me on Twitter and Instagram at Barberchair Scott. Y'all know to follow Dante at October Zonte on Twitter. You can follow JR Bang at JR Bang on all social media platforms. You can follow Mikey at Junior_Solito. And yeah, man, we're getting ready to head to local hour. A lot of Bear stuff to talk about. Shout out to everybody who watched. We had our most views today. This is the most people we've seen on the episode. Y'all keep it up. Keep spreading the brand. We can't do this shit without y'all. So shout out to everybody watched on Instagram, everybody watch on Facebook, on Twitter, YouTube, of course. Shout out to HB Media. Shout out to Pillars. We'll holler at y'all on the local hour.